I'll line out characteristically why this game was a disaster waiting to happen. Bonucci
Okay.
and Gatti aside. Look at these midfields. McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot. Okay, that works against Empoli.
Yes.
Okay, that does not work against Benfica. Three of the same guy in the Champions League in your midfield doesn't work. Doesn't work. You got to have a mix. Look at Benfica. Enzo Fernandez does a little bit of everything, and he also takes set pieces. Florentino Luis was the stopper. Won a couple balls, didn't get himself into too much trouble. And then you've got the blend of talent. Joao Mario seems to be doing everything for them. Rafa Silva scoring twice, dynamic, and guys like Luis and Enzo Fernandez gives him an opportunity to have some freedom going forward. And then this Frednik Arsnes, am I pronouncing it right?
Sounds good.
Another guy that's got a blend of everything, incredibly combative and all of this other stuff. Now, I just explained a bunch of different characteristics within the midfield of Benfica. I look at McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot. They're the same guy.
Yeah.
That doesn't work in Europe. All right. Why has Napoli been so successful in the group stages? Because they're not playing the same guys in midfield. Lobotka is a stopper, can do some deep lying playmaking. Zielinski is the attacking midfielder. And then I can't remember who the third man is out of that group that they generally start. I'm sorry, Anguissa. Another stopper, and then another guy that will at times get into the penalty area. Juventus doesn't have any midfield stoppers.
Yeah.
Okay? You can't go to Lisbon with McKennie, Locatelli, and Rabiot and ask them to protect a back three of Gatti, Bonucci, and Danilo. It's just setting yourself up for disaster.
Suicidal.
It is. It is. And you look at it right there, and Juventus's failure to mix up what they need characteristically in their midfield is shown up here in this Champions League group stage, and has also in spots shown up in league. They can get away with it against someone like Empoli or someone like Cremonese or somebody like that. You can't get away with that traveling to Lisbon playing Benfica. You can't get away with that going to Paris playing PSG. Shit, you couldn't get away with it going to Israel playing Maccabi Haifa. Exactly. When's he just going to change this? Here's the thing, and we're going to talk about McKennie and Rabiot's roles in the Empoli win when we talk about that game later.
Okay.
If you found some kind of midfield stopper and put him in this Juventus team and put him in that front three, and you played Locatelli to either side of that, I'm convinced, and this is a hot take, I'm convinced we could be talking about Manuel Locatelli as one of the best midfielders in this league and one of Italy's best midfielders if you gave him a role like that. But instead, you're asking him to be the center of this three where he doesn't have the license to follow the runners, to follow the forwards into the penalty area, to do some of those things, where he excelled in it at Sassuolo. He showed signs of it when he was a younger player at Milan. It's like Allegri saying, no, we need you centrally in front of the back three, and you can't go that farther forward. And I think that is completely stunting his development. If you had a tackling central midfielder, a ball-winning central midfielder, if you had an Anguissa, okay, in that Juventus team, you could move Locatelli to one of those spots, and you instantly make Locatelli a player that I think would be one of the best midfielders in this league.
Sure.
Because that's his role. That's what he's good at. And Allegri doesn't do that because when part of it is because Allegri doesn't have a guy that can play that role. He doesn't have a tackling midfielder.
In the preseason, going into the season, everyone was all high and mighty on Juventus, all the signings that they made, this and that. And I said, I'm not on the train because the one area concern, or one of the biggest area concerns that I had was the midfield is addressing it. Like you said, McKennie, Rabiot, Locatelli, all the same players. There's no stopper there. There's no really playmaker there. Di Maria, but he's on the wing. Dybala's gone. They didn't address it. So everyone's all high and mighty and all these signings. I'm like, Paul Pogba's not going to do anything. I mean, all these guys you have, they're not going to do anything. Paredes, they could be the guy if he fits into it, but they don't have the right pieces. And yes, guys are hurt, I'm sure. But even if the guys weren't hurt, it would still be the same result. It's just poor tactics, poor setting up. Like you said, that three-man midfield could not cope. Bring in Moretti, bring in whoever. You get somebody else a chance. It's just disaster class.
Yeah, it is. It is, and it's not going to get any better. They got to get to January, and they got to get some kind of a stopping midfielder. Hell, get two.
Yeah.
Get one that you can play regularly and one that you can bring in for spot duty. I mean, it's that's the glaring problem with this Juventus team.